Thanks a lot for staying with us on TVC Breakfast. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers. We've got a host of them as usual, and so many stories made it to the front pages. Looking at The Nation, first off, the biggest story there is captioned Atiku's appeal lacks facts. This is from the president, who has now, sent in court processes, that's at the Supreme Court, as an appeal on the verdict of the presidential election petition court is due to, of course, it has kickstarted. Parties have exchanged processes, and now we are getting the position of the president, who is saying that Atiku's appeal lacks facts and claims on my Chicago varsity credentials cooked up. There's a quotation there from the president. The appellants did not intend to prosecute a petition, but rather to venture into some form of blockbuster laced with thrilling suspense, stunning surprises, and ecstatic hide-and-seek recreational activities. This is from the president's legal team. There's also a story there below that big story as to why the Federal Executive Council has not reconvened. Of course, the presidency is saying a ministerial retreat that will encapsulate all government's programs and policies is underway. Other stories there on the front page. Work begins on 260 federal roads nationwide. Olukoyede gets nod as the new EFCC chairman, and there are reasons as to why he was picked. Africa's debt relief call legitimate. This is according to IMF. And 2 die, 4 injured in Osho Church building collapse. Of course, lastly, for nice, how CBN's lifting of restrictions on 43 items will affect economy as Apex Bank ends direct funding of development projects. Let's look at blueprints now. Tinubu to Supreme Court on the Chicago State University saga, dismissed Atiku's appeal over cooked-up vague allegations, describes Atiku's second voyage as abuse of court process. Obi bears different names in NYSC UNN certificates. This is according to the Apapa faction of the same party that Peter Obi belongs to. Troops neutralize 50 terrorists, arrest 114, bungle 0.09 billion naira oil deal. Naira slumps to 1,045 naira to the dollar as Forex crisis worsens. Organ harvesting. Court revokes Noah Kekere's bail. Remand suspect. And Ajulo Falana's wife, EFCC lawyer, 56 others elevated to the coveted rank of senior advocate of Nigeria. On the Daily Times this morning, Tinubu replies Atiku in Supreme Court. Silent on Chicago certificate. Says PDP's candidate appeals neither has legs nor wings. Dramatic proceedings expected. Apex Court yet to fix a date. Now, governor renders hundreds homeless, allegedly for Chinese sponsor, as foreigner boasts that nothing will happen. This according to a lawyer. Because there are mixed reactions trailing CBN's readmission of 43 items after 8 years. Get all the details there on the Daily Times. Daily Trust is next. Tinubu breaches law on Olukoyede's appointment as EFCC chair. This is from experts, but the presidency insists no law was violated. ICPC begins tracking of 500 billion naira constituency projects. Troops uncover bodies in IPOB's enclaves. 270 varsities seek licenses as FG opens space for foreign institutions, and many are feared dead, trapped in 3 tankers fire accident in Lagos. That's the picture story there, the scene of the explosion involving 3 tankers at Orile Igomu in Lagos on Thursday. Nature News is next. The lead story there is captioned flood control. Tinubu forms committee to tackle Nigeria's flood crisis. 45 are said to be killed, 171,000 plus persons displaced by flood in 13 states. That's according to NEMA. And Of course, Lagos to host electric vehicle assembly plant. So many stories around the environment on the Nature News. Finally is the Punch. On the Forex crisis, CBN raises dollar supply, lifts ban on cement and 42 other items. 8-year Forex ban on rice, 42 others removed. CBN insists on single Forex rate. The private sector manufacturers, in the meantime, are commending the federal government as the CBN governor, Cardoso, plans more Forex policy review. And of course, there's a picture story also of a diesel-laden tanker crashing on Lagos highway traps bus. The Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee names 58 lawyers as SANS, drops 11 professors. PSC, that's the Police Service Commission, promotes 12 commissioners as well as 5,700 plus police personnel. On the Israeli-Hamas war, UK, US, India evacuates nationals as deaths hit 2,700. Ibrahim.
Right, the first one with me here is the Nigeria Tribune with the screaming headline, CBN lifts Forex ban on 43 items to intervene in FX market. Restates commitment to boost liquidity in market. Action will reduce premium between official parallel markets. That's dawn. And avoid market suppression tendencies. CPPE warns CBN. And above the nameplate, dismiss Atiku's appeal for lacking merit, Tinubu tells Supreme Court. You find out on page 28 of the Nigerian Tribune. How flood affected cassava, maize, beans in 18 states. That's report. Nominations, opened for 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Prize. You find that on page 2. Senator Uba dumps YPP, defects to APC. Read more on that on page 29. Ajulo Falana's wife, 56 others for SAN rank, that's the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Nigeria's rank. Reps probe alleged victimization, forced imprisonment of Nigerians in Ethiopia. And on the lower part, the bottom strip, federal government approves over 260 emergency road repairs. Work to gulp 217 billion naira. That's according to Dave Umahi. FEMA board gets nod for reconstitution. Tinubu appoints Olukoyede as new EFCC chairman. That's on the front page here. You see a kind of bad road, Ibadan to Ijebu Ode Road. I think that's screaming for attention for those who really matter. Now, business day is next. In move towards single FX rate, CBN lifts ban on 43 items. Naira to appreciate on black markets. That's analysts. Investor confidence dented as promising African startups fail. That's on the front page of the Business Day newspaper. You continue to read that on page 30. How family businesses can scale to list trillionaire firms. That's something for your reading there. Friday, Leadership Friday is next. Leadership Friday. I think that's the way it is. 8 years after, CBN opens Forex border to 43 banned items. And the riders read, manufacturing sector suffers setback. Naira heads for worse, puts pressure on foreign reserves. Why Olukoyede was appointed EFCC chairman. That's according to the presidency. And below the nameplate, we've got Atiku's appeal, mere blockbuster. Tinubu tells Supreme Court. Israel-Palestine, UN decries dire situation. Death toll reaches 2,837. That's on page 22 of the Nigeria leadership. Abdullahi Ajulo Bade Wole Falana's wife, 54 others get SAN rank. Uba, APC has conquered Southeast. That's Akpabio reacting to Uba's defection to the APC. Racing on to the next is the Nigeria News Direct. Forex, that's a kicker, and the headline reads, after 8 years, CBN lifts ban on rice, palm oil, 41 other items, promises to boost liquidity to ensure stability of prices. That's on page 4. And above the nameplate, Agbara Roundtable, VP Shetima, Vice President Shetima guarantees industries steady power supply within 4 months. The POS agents arrested for allegedly stealing 942 million naira from employer. That's on page 15. And below the picture on the front page here, we've got naira plunges in parallel market as forex traders sell at 1,045 naira to the dollar. On the bottom strip, AKK gas project, July-August 2024 deadline sacrosanct, minister tells contractors. This Nigeria is next. AGF queried for signing 26 trillion naira financial statement without minister's input. Senate says infraction contained in 2019 Auditor General for the Federation report. You read this expose on page 4 of This Nigeria. Senate minority shrinks as Oba defects from YPP to APC. That's a big move there. And this means Atiku's appeal, Tinubu urges Supreme Court. After 8 years, CBN lifts FX restrictions on 43 items. Apex Bank targets promotion of transparency, credibility in Forex rates. That's on page 18. And on the ear of the newspaper, we have Monarchs storm DHQ, plead with CDS to curtail criminality in the FCT. That's on page 7 of This Nigeria. And the penultimate paper that I have with me here is the First News newspaper. Cameroon plotting to seize parts of Adamawa State. Reps member alerts federal government. Second-term agenda, we will deliver more roads and bridges to link more communities to Yenagoa. That's Doyediri talking there. Reps move to rescue 250 Nigerians in Ethiopian prison. Summoned Foreign Affairs Minister Nitcom Bowles. AFCON 2023, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Guinea-Bissau, Equatorial Guinea, drawn in Group A. Interesting. A claim of discrepancies in my credentials fabricated by Atiku, that's Tinubu firing back, tells Supreme Court CSU records alien to PDP candidates appeal. And still below the folio line of the First newspaper, ICPC begins tracking of 500 billion naira fraudulent constituency projects. Tinubu appoints Olukoyede, EFCC chairman, says only YPP Senator Ifeanyi Ubah defects to APC. These and many more you'll find on the front page in the newspaper, the First News. And the last but not least, the Guardian newspaper. Poor funding, low patronage rob Nigerian sports 500 billion naira revenue yearly. That's the big story which you'll find on page 4 and 5 of this Guardian newspaper, of the Guardian newspaper. Controversy trails appointment of lawyer Olukoyede as EFCC chair. Interesting stuff. You see that on page 6 or page 8 of the Guardian newspaper. Federal government talks tough on sexual harassment in varsities. That's on page 7. CBN lifts restrictions on 43 items, unveils measures to address distortions. So there's many more. Then the last one from here is the story with the 23.8 million family businesses contribute to $100 billion to Nigeria's economy yearly. That's on, you find that on the front page of this Guardian newspaper. Kemi, I think that's all that we have.
Right. So many stories, but two stories are, prominent. Of course, we may not have so much time to discuss them, but of course, the options are there for newspaper readers this morning to go and avail yourself to all the interesting stories on the front pages this morning. Of course, in the words of, was it? Okay, it was the Daily Times. The Daily Times says dramatic proceedings are expected, and I would want to second that, looking at the drama that looms at the Supreme Court, now that attention has shifted from the Court of Appeal, which had the presidential election petition court proceedings. regarding the fallout of the presidential election, how the five-justice panel, upheld the election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as winner of the election, that is. But of course, his two main challengers, Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar, have gone on to the Supreme Court. By the way, no date has been fixed yet for hearing, but looking at the fireworks, legal fireworks that is, from all sides, it appears that we should expect nothing short of drama over there at the Apex Court, Ibrahim.
Interesting. The fact that the president, Bola Tinubu, who is responding here now, says that claim of discrepancies in his credentials are fabricated by Atiku, telling Supreme Court that the CSU records alien to PDP candidates appeal. So many things, so many things have actually cropped up with the fact that they are also telling Atiku, former Vice President Atiku, that he who lives in a glass house does not throw stone. They're asking him to also explain who Sadiq Abubakar, is. The fact that, his wife result also has a name of Sadiq Abubakar, and the fact that he also bears Atiku Abubakar, and even when he swore affidavit, it was Sadiq, like the spelling of Sadiq, but not telling that he's changing his name. So a lot of things will be happening, and interesting day ahead.
Interesting.
The final day at the Supreme Court.
Interesting day ahead. Of course, there's so much awareness, and of course, the issue of a new helmsman at the anti-graft agency, the EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, has also, made it to the front pages, and understandably so. Just as we hear that Abdul Rashid Bawa has now officially resigned his position as head of the EFCC. Well, all these and more, no time for us to talk about them, but, there you have them. You can go and read up on all this information to be well aware of the intrigues.